Before Cantona had collars and before Rooney had rage, there was Mark Hughes, a forward built like a centre-back with a volley like a sledgehammer. 2 spells, 163 goals and 8 trophies won. This is the story of a Man United great who never quite fit the mould, but never needed to. Mark Hughes wasn't a youth team darling. He didn't glide into the first team with fanfare. He waited. It took 3 years at United before a single senior appearance, and even that was in a League Cup tie away at Oxford, and he played on the left wing. When Hughes made his United debut, the club's forward partnership consisted of Frank Stapleton and Norman Whiteside, and breaking up that partnership would not be easy. But Hughes quickly broke into the first team, partnering Stapleton in attack, while Whiteside was switched to midfield to partner Brian Robson or Ray Wilkins, and standing for the injury-prone Remy Moses. The departure of Wilkins to Milan at the end of the season saw Ron Atkinson stick to using Whiteside in the centre of midfield, enabling Hughes to keep his place in the first team. Atkinson was rewarded handsomely as Hughes scored 25 goals in 55 matches across all competitions as United achieved an FA Cup final victory over Everton. Hughes managed a further 18 goals in the 85-86 season, where they led the league until February, having won their first 10 league matches of the season, before a dismal second half of the season saw them slip into 4th place in the final table. 18 was his best league tally in any single season. Not bad for a player who did half his work with his back to goal. Then came the move that never quite fit, Barcelona for £2 million. In the summer of '86, Hughes was sold to Barcelona for £2 million. United announced in March that Hughes would be heading for Spain at the end of the season, but the transfer had been agreed many weeks earlier. Terry Venables wanted a British frontline. Lineker thrived, Hughes floundered. His competitive style at odds with the players and the league he found himself in. 5 goals, 37 games, and 1 year later, Barca wanted rid. Bayern Munich offered an escape and Hughes grabbed it, a chance to regain his form, playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. In May 1988, Hughes returned to Manchester United, now managed by Sir Alex Ferguson, for a then club record fee of £1.8 million. As he'd done in his first spell at Old Trafford, Hughes proved to be a dynamic goalscorer and was a key player for the club for the next 7 years. Ferguson had been keen on re-signing Hughes for United soon after becoming manager in November '86, but Hughes would have been liable for taxation on money he earned playing overseas if he'd returned to England before April 1988. In the 88-89 season, his first back in England, United disappointed in the league and finished 11th after an erratic season. They had gone 10 league matches without a win in the autumn, but then went on a strong run after the turn of the new year to lift them into 3rd place, only for a late season collapse to drag them back down to mid-table. A year later, Hughes scored twice as United drew 3-3 with Crystal Palace in the 1990 FA Cup final, before a Lee Martin goal in the replay gave United their first major trophy in 5 years. He was United's top goalscorer that season, scoring 15 goals in all competitions, 13 of them in the league, where United finished a disappointing 13th. The following season, Hughes scored both goals against former club Barcelona as United lifted the Cup Winners' Cup, winning the final 2-1 in Rotterdam. Once again, he was their top scorer, this time with 21 goals in all competitions. The 1990-91 season also saw Hughes score the last of his 4 hat-tricks for United in the League Cup quarter-final replay against Southampton at Old Trafford, which United won 3-2. In 91-92, Hughes suffered the disappointment of missing out on a league title medal as United were pipped to the title by Leeds United. United were in the hunt for a new striker, as a lack of goals was seeing them slip behind in the title race, and Eric Cantona was eventually signed at the end of November. This prompted interest from Newcastle manager Kevin Keegan, who first asked Ferguson about Hughes' availability that summer. Ferguson, however, insisted that Hughes was not for sale, and he remained a regular choice in the first team. In May 93, Hughes found more silverware in 94 as United completed the league and cup double, with Hughes scoring in the FA Cup final. He also scored United's consolation goal in their 3-1 defeat in the 1994 League Cup final at the hands of Aston Villa at Wembley that season. In December 94, with United second to Blackburn in the race for the league title, media reports were linking United with the signature of several highly rated strikers, including Andy Cole and Stan Collymore, and there were already some impressive performances in the first team from 20-year-old striker Paul Scholes. Hughes was now widely tipped to be the player most likely to lose his place in any new signing, and when United completed the $7 million signing of Cole on the 10th of January 1995, it was almost immediately reported that new Everton manager Joe Royle was tabling a 2.5 and was subsequently banned for 8 months. Hughes found himself back in the first team, and in partnership with Andy Cole, he even signed a new 2-year contract. Hughes came close to winning both the Premier League and the FA Cup again in 1995, but failure to beat West Ham United on the final day this season, and Everton in the FA Cup final a week later, condemned United to their first trophyless season in 6 years. That FA Cup final was his last match in a United shirt. Hughes scored 8 league goals in the 94-95 season and managed a total of 12 in all competitions. When he left in 1995, Hughes was the last man at Old Trafford who'd worn the United shirt before Ferguson arrived, a relic from the pre-Fergie era who somehow managed to become central to its beginnings. 163 goals, countless bruises, a volley technique that could knock satellites out of orbit. Mark Hughes wasn't poetic, he wasn't polished, but for a generation of United fans, he was the first striker they truly loved. A player who took a kicking, gave a kicking, and made the game feel feral again. He didn't just play for United, he fought for it.